Hey guys, I get a lot of questions. Can you explain to me what you do? How do you sell homes? Are you not a realtor? I am a realtor. I just don't think listing your home like a traditional realtor is the best way to sell your home. I don't think that's the best service to the seller, the buyer, or myself as the agent. So I say don't list your home. But not to be adversarial. Let me show you what I'm going to do today. I'm going to share my presentation with you guys. I'm also going to, in the comments, put a URL link. Let me see if I can show you. That's what it looks like. If you click on that URL link, it'll take you to this presentation. I hope this works well. I'm excited to show you. Let me know if you have any questions. You want to eliminate carrying costs while your home's on the market, and you want to sell for as much as possible. Well, I'm not sure if it's for you, but I only take on 4 and 20 properties. I don't want you to miss your chance to sell your home for top dollar this year. Check this out.
They said, you'll be out of this house in 45 days. And this was the middle of the summer. I said, are you guys serious? And you're going to sell this thing in the middle of summer? And they said, yes, we're going to do it. We got offers right out of the box. And finally, our 4th offer, we acted on it and sold it.
How open-minded would you be to selling your home in 60 days or less for top dollar? Unless you live in San Francisco, Los Angeles, or New York City, you aren't typically going to do that traditionally. And you're even less likely to generate a bidding war. I believe that all real estate professionals would agree that the hardest part about listing a property is getting people to the door. But I'm going to tell you how I get 200 plus people to my listings in a 4-week period. How would you feel if your home was on the market for 6 months or a year or even 2 years? But as of August 11th of last year, there were 50 homes priced at $2 million or higher that have been on the market for a minimum of 600 days. Collectively, the listing price on these homes has dropped over $20 million. How certain are you that your home's not going to end up on this list? And just imagine the look on your neighbors' faces when you sell your home in 60 days or less and you didn't lower the price once. Your home's like an automobile. It may be high maintenance like an Italian sports car. It might be refined and expensive like a German luxury sedan. It may be solid and sturdy like an SUV, or delicate like a Pebble Beach Concorde Elegant show car. But whatever it is, whether it's tiny like a compact car or full size and beyond, it needs fuel to make it run smoothly. And when it comes to sales, that fuel is marketing.
Would you sell a car like this the same way as a car like this? Homes like this need a different approach and an expert's touch in order to sell quickly and for top dollar. I'm calling you as a PDP Realtors, and we specialize in selling luxury properties in quick, painless, profitable process.
I'm helping define the actual market value of luxury properties by showcasing unique homes to the affluent market and selling them quickly for top dollar. And I want you to think about using and implementing anything I say today that gets you excited. It works for all types of real estate. My mentor, Jeffrey Gitomer, he wrote the greatest selling sales book in history called The Little Red Sales Book. He taught me the importance of leading with and providing outstanding value. Like a rising tide that raises all ships, The more sellers and real estate professionals that I can help, the more it helps me cement my value. So do you need any help?
Cody? Dude. Love Cody. First class guy. First class guy. If you're looking for $1 million home to sell one or buy one, Cody Lewis is your guy. Not even close. He is your guy.
So who is this program for? Well, if your home's one of the 50 that I just mentioned a few moments ago, it's definitely for you. But say you want to sell your home and you don't want it to sit on the market for months or even years at a time, just getting stale as you repeatedly drop the price and let random showings dictate your schedule. If this sounds like you, then I need you to focus, because I'm going to show you a unique marketing platform that'll expedite your selling process to 60 days or less. It will create a bidding arena of buyers, and it'll help sell your home for the most money possible. Imagine you have a time machine. Hop in there and zoom forward in space to the time when you've sold your home. You're free of the burden of that asset. The buyers are proud to own their new home, and you're excited about the price they paid. How did you get there? How long did it take? As I see it, you have 3 options. First, list your home traditionally. Test the market and hang in there for a while and see what happens. Then switch brokers and try it all over again. Best of luck to you. I think that's the definition of insanity. Your second option is just hang on to the home. Don't sell it. Let your kids or your kids' kids worry about that asset after you're gone. Or third, you could try a not-so-traditional marketing approach for a not-so-traditional home, creating a sense of urgency and establishing the fear of missing out in the marketplace, which will result in a quick sale for top dollar. Of these 3 options I just gave you, what's going to be easiest for you? As you can see, this is an easy decision to make. And why wouldn't it be? I'm offering you the chance to not only sell your home in 60 days or less, but to also create an arena for buyers to compete on, which will drive the sale to top dollar while leaving those buyers enthusiastic and confident about the selling process. Hey, has your driveway ever looked like this during an open house? And please let me point out the cars on the road as well. And by the way, this house was on the market for 3 years prior to us getting involved. In 4 weekends, we had over 300 showings and more than 10 registered competing buyers involved in this record-breaking sale. So in our program, we only accept 4 in 20 properties that inquire, which is due to us being very selective in who we work with. To be honest with you, I'm looking for realistic sellers who are actually looking to sell their home for the true market value today. And I'll explain what the true market value means in a minute. But first, there's 2 types of people in this world. Those who need to sell and those who want to sell. I really enjoy working with clients who want to sell. Our programs for non-distressed properties in both the financial and structural sense. And all of the properties I sell have a free and clear title without liens, debts, or encumbrances. And we can talk more about that later. If I asked you to name one specific area of the sale that you would wish to control, you would probably pick the price of the sale, the time of the sale, or the amount of competition involved in the sale. At least most people would. The good news is, with our program, you can control the sale. And controlling the sale begins with defining the specific timeline that property is going to be sold on to the best and highest offer. Some people may think, Well, that's crazy. Why would you not define a price first? And that's an easy question for me to answer. It's because I don't like creating ceilings for myself. I'm in the business of trying to set as many sales records as I can, and that's tough to do when you cap yourself.
I didn't think he could sell my home in the range of value he provided me, but he did, and he told me and brought me multiple competing offers.
My goal for you during this short time that we have together is to take away two things. Number one, the only way for you to sell your home for top dollar is to create a bidding war. Because if you aren't competing up, you're negotiating down. And number two, the only way to create a bidding war is through creating FOMO in the marketplace. And where does the buyer's fear come from? It comes from pain. Pain that they won't act quick enough, or that someone will act quicker, or that someone will pay just a bit more than they were going to offer. You see, you have to create an arena for these buyers to compete on so that A, you can define the actual market value of your property, and B, let the buyers feel comfortable with increasing their initial thought value of the property. I mean, heck, if another buyer is willing to compete with them on price, clearly the value of the home is there. Remember, the value is in the eye of the beholder, not the appraiser. So through these two natural laws, we're able to direct a response that simply isn't happening in traditional sales. Don't believe me? Listen to this testimonial from Leslie Pyle.
We were a little uncertain how to price it, and of course we wanted to bring in the maximum value, and Cody was amazing in helping us price it, as well as his skills in bringing in multiple interested buyers. And with his negotiating skills and his amazing just all-around sales skills, we were able to sell our home for almost double what any other home in the area has sold for. So
Double what any other home has sold for. So let me ask you, what do you know about how real estate valuations have changed in today's market? How would you feel if you sold your home for 10 to 15% below market value? What about above market value? Can you tell me how you know if you're selling your home for what it's actually worth? And how does your pricing strategy make the buyer perceive the value and feel confident enough that they're willing to actually open their wallets? Now, don't worry if you can't define market value. I'm going to do that for you right now. First, we have comparable sales. The best determining factor for this is what are similar homes selling for per square foot in your area? However, there are a lot of alternatives that you need to be aware of, such as land size, building year, building material, updating, privacy, etc., etc., etc. Next, we have market inventory. This defines how many homes are on the market in your area and what the average turnover rate is for the neighborhood. We define this as the absorption rate in my biz. It's important to not only look at how many homes are for sale, but why they are for sale. Each neighborhood, block, or street can have a different developmental trend happening at any given time. And lastly, market demand. If I'm being honest, which I am, this is the most important factor to consider. How many people actually want your home? Because man, sometimes people just don't want your stuff. But if you can create an arena for these buyers to compete on, you're more likely to sell the home at a higher value than with only one buyer negotiating against you as the seller. So let me ask you a question. How do you even comp a custom or unique home? I mean, aren't they custom? Like there isn't any other home like it? This can make it tough to define a comparable property to draw values from. And that's why when I run assessments of my clients' properties, I look at the value of homes in the area that were recently sold. And I do that because this is the most important telltale sign of value. I also do this to determine how much money buyers are willing to spend in a specific area, neighborhood, or community, not to determine how much a home should sell for per square foot. That's like comparing apples to oranges, in my opinion. Most people that I speak with who are selling a custom or unique home, they inform me that their property was on the market for 1 to 2 years and only had 1 to 2 showings. Shocker. Why would anyone come see your home when you have all of the photos, videos, and details on the internet? And they know that your only tool to bait them in is the low price. Of course, they're going to wait it out in the shadowed corners of the internet until you've lowered that price as low as it can go. So can you tell me how you know if you're getting the actual market value for your home? Well, in order to understand what the actual market value of your property is, you need to allow the market to speak. And you do this by creating a buzz around the property, with marketing. You must also create opportunities for the public to participate in the action, hence the message of an absolute sale, selling to the highest buyer on a specific date and time. The best way to do this is to structure showing opportunities. The best way to do this is to structure showing opportunities on a strict schedule. For example, we don't allow showings to happen unless it is on our predetermined dates and times. And why do we do this? It's because I want all the buyers to see each other and gain the understanding that it's not just them in the game, and these other buyers, they have just as nice of cars, clothes, and families as theirs. So this is going to be a competition, but one with great opportunity. Most people understand this best when I use the analogy of the empty restaurant versus the packed house restaurant. Say you're on vacation and there's 2 restaurants right next door to each other. One's empty and one's full. Which one do you want to eat at? Here's a testimonial quote from one of my clients. His name's John Madonia. He said, "I had owned my home since 1992 and had it on and off the market a half dozen times with different brokers. Cody did what he said he was going to do and sold my home in less than 60 days. He also exceeded my price expectations by about 15%. Okay, before you make your mind up, let me ask you a question. How are the world's most expensive things sold? I'm talking about art, antiquities, planes, yachts, cars, cigars, and yeah, even homes. Well, most people would say at auctions. I mean, just look at how Picasso's or Van Gogh's trade hands. And other fine art and antiquities, yeah, they're the same way. I mean, in Arizona, we host the greatest custom and classic car auction on earth. We call it Barrett-Jackson. So now we're going to talk about the Barrett-Jackson of real estate. How would you feel after 6 months of listing your home and not receiving an offer, or worse yet, even a showing? Don't worry, I have a solution. What's going to happen next is I'm going to take you through a quick 5-step process that defines my sales program. Then you'll schedule a time that works well for the both of us to discuss your property and see if it's a good fit for the program. Fair enough? Let's talk dollars. In a traditional real estate transaction, the seller pays a standard 6% split commission. So you're paying 3% to the seller's agent and 3% to the buyer's agent. In my program, the seller only pays a 5% commission. Our absolute sales partners are paid a 2% buyer's premium, which is added to the top of the sales price. Well, Cody, what's a buyer's premium? Well, that's a fee paid by the buyer reflective of the hammer price, or what we call the sales price. So as an example, if the sales price is $1 million, the actual recorded price would be $1,020,000. Or if the sales price was $500,000, the actual recorded price would be $510,000. Now, as we mentioned, getting people to the door is the biggest hurdle in terms of selling any type of real estate, especially since the advent of the internet. Now all these buyers are very educated. So how do we negate this obstacle and succeed in getting 200 plus people through our properties in a 4-week period? Let me explain that through discussing the 2 different selling techniques when it comes to real estate. First, we have our traditional method, and that's where the seller places a list price or a reserve on the property. And if that price isn't met, they can opt not to sell. I think this is the weakest way to sell in today's market, just because if we put our buyer's hat on, why would we be enticed to go see a home that's only going to sell for a certain price? Especially when most sellers have an unrealistic price expectation of the market anyway. We wouldn't be. But keep that buyer's hat on. What would get you to the door and in the game? How about the opportunity to name your price on an exclusive, one-of-a-kind property? And that's exactly what your home is when it's the only home selling to the best and highest offer on a specific date. That's why we sell all of our properties via absolute sales. This is where the home will sell to the highest buyer as long as it meets or exceeds our guide price on an established date and time. Well, oh my gosh, Cody, does that mean my house can sell for the bottom end of that range? Yeah, I guess it does. I mean, if your house is only worth the bottom range, then that's what it's going to sell for. But if you really have a $4 million home, then it's going to sell for $4 million or more. At least this is your best chance to sell for more, because in reality, this is how Christie's and Sotheby's sells their high-end art and antiquities. And like we talked about earlier, this is how Barrett-Jackson sells all of their cars. And why do they do it? It's because it drives buyers to take action, and it forces them to get in the game, which just isn't happening in traditional sales. Remember, if you aren't competing up, you're negotiating down. And every day you carry that beast of a property, well, it's going to cost you. Perhaps you could do me a quick favor. Can you tell me where you must advertise your property for a successful marketing campaign? Do you know how much that costs? Do you have any idea how much realtors are wasting in their advertisements? Luckily, I'm going to take you through the must-use marketing publications and vendors real briefly, but I've also created a cheat sheet for my clients that I'm happy to provide to you. All you need to do is go to my website, scroll down on the homepage about 2/3 of the way, and you can download my free marketing handbook there. To give you a quick 30,000-foot view, here's a breakdown of the crucial distribution channels that I use when it comes to marketing your home. First, we're able to go direct to our current and past clients. With my partners, I have over 125,000 clients that I can distribute properties to directly, depending on their property preference. We utilize a number of reputable listing publications as well. These publications are in both print and digital formats, and they circulate locally, nationally, and internationally. Some examples of these are the DuPont Registry, Jet Set Magazine, Mansions Global, and Rob Report. Strategic placements of our advertisements in business journals is also a strong form of marketing. Seeing as how many of the buyers these days are business executives and other C-suite players, we want to get in front of them. Very important is generating activity and kicking up dust in the local brokerage community. It's really a key to our marketing that, quite frankly, most traditional realtors just aren't doing. I can tell you though, when we're done with our campaign on your home, we can assure you that there will be no stone unturned and no tree unshook. The market's going to know about your house. And lastly, we also leverage our digital marketing agencies to increase our internet traffic, traction, and participation. It's a fact that since 2015, over 90% of buyers have found their new home online. And I don't want them to miss ours. But who cares how many people I can get to your house during these showings if I'm not able to actually bring buyers, right? Right. And that's why we vet all the buyers through a 3-step process. So aside from just talking with the clients during and after the showings to understand their dynamics and who they are they married, divorced, do they have kids, no kids, where are they from, whatever. We then also have the buyers go through the following process. Number 1, the buyers will deposit a cashier's check to our preferred title company. This check will be made out for somewhere between $10,000 to $25,000, depending on the value of your property, basically. They'll submit this check just for the right to be there competing for your home and hopefully get their offer accepted on acceptance day. If they are the winning bidder, their check goes hard instantly. And if they aren't the winning bidder, their cashier's check is returned to them within 24 hours. Now, this is an as-is, no contingency sale. And that means all of the due diligence is done before the offer is submitted, as opposed to after the offer is accepted, like with traditional real estate. Now, we don't have any fallouts because of this, and because we have a sizable amount of the buyer's non-refundable money. The buyers then have 24 hours to bring their deposit up to 10% of their bid, minus the initial deposit, and then close in 30 days. Since your interest is still piqued and you're curious to know if your property would qualify for our program, I'm going to take a moment and run through the 3 upfront responsibilities that we would require from you as the seller. First, the seller would be responsible for providing the upfront due diligence for the buyer. Now, this typically includes a home inspection, title report, plat map, seller property disclosure statement, etc. Basically, anything that I'm going to need in a traditional sale, I want to supply to the buyer beforehand. The next thing that I look at is, can the seller provide a free and clear title against what is owed on the property? So if our range of value is too tight to any debt on the home, I'm probably not your guy. And the last thing the seller provides is the upfront marketing investment to market their property. Now, I can tell you, this isn't a fee-based system that I'm making money on. If it were, I'd be charging a whole lot more, I can tell you that much. But what this is, it's a system that ensures every party involved is equally yoked. In a traditional sale, the marketing money is already sunk by the seller anyways, because most sellers are going to pay this marketing fee and their carrying costs within a month or less. Now, I know most of the questions you probably have. So let me answer the major questions that most of my clients ask me. And if you have anything in addition to these, feel free and reach out and I'll get you an answer immediately. Your first question is, why in the hell should I pay for the marketing up front? I've never heard of this in the past. Well, that's mainly because no one's had the balls to ask you. But this isn't the past. And a matter of fact, it's the future of real estate. The fact is, Traditional real estate has the worst business model on the face of this earth. The agents are going to put down the upfront investment in terms of dollars and time, and then they're going to hope that they'll make it back if their clients will accept a deal. I don't agree with that. I don't think you do either. I think we should all have some skin in the game if you want to sell your home for top dollar. And your second question is, what happens if people just don't want my house? Well, I address this by first working with the sellers to create an agreed upon range of value for the property. If the seller's too unrealistic, I'll just pass on the property. But secondly, the buyers are required to register online prior to the auction. So when they do this, they submit a bidder registration packet, which contains their opening bid. And we're able to extrapolate within a 10% range what their high offer will be on acceptance day. If for some reason, through our data and our planning, we're not able to secure an offer that is in or above the guide price range, then the seller is not obligated to accept an offer or sell his home. If this happens, we'll then just drive the buyers that we have to place their best and highest offers and start a pre-auction bidding war. And this will allow the seller to accept, reject, or negotiate with any offer we have. Thank you for your time as you watched my presentation. As I mentioned, I only accept 4 in 20 properties, so my space is limited. If you would like to get your home sold this year for top dollar, please inquire with me to see if your property would be a good fit for the program. I look forward to hearing from you. I hope that presentation was fun. I know it was long. This was a long live stream with 32 minutes, but I think it was informative. I think it's important that you guys know all this stuff and you have another tool in your tool belt for when you're ready to sell your home. It doesn't matter if it's a $300,000 3-bedroom home or a $30 million 30-bedroom home, right? It just doesn't matter. This works for everything, and it doesn't even have to be a house. The concept is to design and develop a platform that the people interested in whatever item it is that's selling have to be on. And in that platform or arena, they have to compete for whatever it is. They may get a deal. They may get a great deal, a better deal than they expected or wanted to get. But one thing is for sure, at the end of the day, the buyers are going to know that this is the actual market value of the property. The sellers are going to know this is the actual market value of the property. And everybody involved from the outside in is confident that this is what that was worth, because we had 2 or more people competing and bringing the price to wherever it sold. I hope it's helpful. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm taking my family to the snow, so I'm not doing this tomorrow, but I'll see you on Friday.